Hey guys, we are back in the garage, and today we are back on the KTM EXCF 500. I've got a lot of the stuff done that I wanted to get done. Still waiting on a few parts and pieces to come in. I'm just going to give an all-around update on what we've done, and then keep making progress from there. So far, we have the Takomoto ECU installed. Here is our plugs for the traction control, the Wi-Fi module, and the map switch. So we still have yet to install those. Down here, we have our Euro boot, which is installed. We have the Takomoto Co. crankcase breather hose, which I just put a zip tie on here, and then ran on the top, which is kind of important. So I ran up top over to this side of our Euro boot, down here with this little S bend, and I tightened it right here. So this is where your air pump would be for the factory smog. We put a zip tie right there and are just letting it dangle. So this is gonna allow the crankcase pressure to just kind of come out the back here. I don't know if I like this system. I'm worried about water getting up through here all the way back in. Now, I think that's a far-fetched concern, because in order for that to happen, the bike would literally have to be submerged to like this point right here. So if it was submerged to this point right here, the entire thing, that means that we already have water in our air intake and we're already gonna have a problem. So I think it's gonna be okay. I don't think that's gonna be an issue, but it is something that I was considering drilling a hole in here to run it through our air boot, and then kind of making like a U-channel system, or I guess like a P-trap, so like a little U kind of thing inside of here with the hose, and then running it down and out through this hole right here, which I think is still a viable solution. I just don't think it's necessary. So I'm gonna run it like this, see how we like it. If we don't like it, then we'll probably do that. The other thing that I think would be cool is if we could find a one-way check valve that is very free-flowing, because if it wasn't free-flowing, you'd probably build up crankcase pressure, and that would not be good. So if we could find a nice free-flowing check valve that we could attach somewhere like in the middle, that would give me peace of mind that water couldn't come up in here. So we'll see about that, not really sure. Let's see, we got the red brake pads. These are the EBC carbon pads. This is our front brake caliper, even though it's in the rear right now. It's our front brake caliper. We got our battery out because we're waiting on our new battery to come in. We do have all of our relays labeled, the fan, lights, and ECU, so they go just like that. So it'd be ECU, lights, and fan, so that's cool. Right down here we have our Slavens Racing capacitor, so that's going to be tucked away in here. Might just dangle, I'm not really sure. I like to put a spare fuse on everything that we can, so put a spare fuse here. And then this guy right here is our accessory switch relay. So it just plugs in to this port right here, super simple. And then when the bike is on and running, this port gets power, which trips the relay, which comes up right here, and you have a black one for your ground and a red one for your positive, and then that basically just controls whatever accessories you're running. This comes with a 25 amp fuse, so it's a mini fuse. You put an extra mini fuse right there just in case it blows on the trail. And then these wires just go to the battery for that capacitor, and then these wires go to the battery for that relay. So super simple setup. We'll be probably adding a battery tender in there too, and then that will be like kind of our final battery thing. That'll be all the stuff that's going to go on the battery. So there's that. Twin air boxes in. Got the hard aluminum, I don't know what you call this. I'm just going to call it the filter support. So that's in there. Got the PC Racing skin back there. You can barely see it, but you can. Got one of our carbon fiber engine mounts on. I didn't put the other one on yet, but we will soon. So just wanted to test out the fit and the finish, and yeah, I think it's solid. I think it's good. So I do cut. There's a little zip tie. There's a zip tie that would be right here against this, and we cut those off. And the reason why is because if you can see, this has already been chafing. What will happen is it will chafe into these wires, and then these wires will lose their ability to conduct electricity. and because they'll be chafed all the way through. And this one was pretty close to that happening, but it hasn't happened yet, so I think we caught it in time. You can see that it's definitely a little dysfunction, or little deformed, but we cut those zip ties always. There's another connector here, which is great, that's fine. You can put another zip tie up here, but you don't want the zip tie to be around this metal banjo bolt. And the reason why is because it'll just rub against there, and then eventually it'll rub all the way through. So that's really bad. So think about that when you're doing this stuff. It's our rear brake light switch, which we got to figure something out for that. Haven't diagnosed that yet. Let's see, I think that's, oh, we added a swift kicker. So this is our swift kicker unit, which is a pretty trick unit, if I do say so myself. This guy can extend all the way up there. It's past the OEM, and then you just hit that and it slides on down. We replaced our rubber for this season because our old rubber was pretty worn out. So this rubber is brand new and nice and stretchy still, or I guess not that stretchy still. So that will go over this to hold this swift kicker in place when we're riding on the trail, so it can't go anywhere. We did desmog this bike, so this bike has been officially desmogged. We relocated our horn, so our horn sits right here now, and we just extended the wires for that, and heat shrunk this guy and made a cable and made it all look nice. Let's see. Oh, we added our Samco's T-piece radiator hose in there. I think I did another video on that, so you guys will see that. So Samco T-piece is in here. You can see the bottom is right here, and here's your top piece. The reason why we relocated the horn is so that way the fan can pull in as much air as possible, and then also it puts the horn out of harm's way, so you can't damage that horn and hit something. We talked about the Euro boot. I think that's it right now, guys. I think we haven't really done anything else. So today we're just kind of cleaning this up. I'm going to go ahead and get our rear shock in because we are finally ready to put that rear shock in. So we're going to do that now, and then yeah, maybe we'll find a few other little things to do too while we're here. I'd like to get our tank in for the canister tank for the overflow for the coolant. But in order to do that, we have to take the skid plate off, and I can't take the skid plate off until I have it in the air. So I might end up putting the front forks on and the wheels back on so we can tip it over on its side and check it out. And then that'll be our new ride height as well, because we did the 3-inch lowering kit with the springs. So enough jibber jabber for now. I'm gonna go ahead and get that rear shock in. If you guys watched my other video, let me see if I can find it really quick. My workbench is full of junk because we got so many brand new parts in, and this is literally all for the bike, which is crazy that most of this stuff is going to go on it. Some of this stuff is like not that big of a deal, some of it's kind of more of a big deal. A lot of little bits and pieces though, so let me see if I can find what I'm looking for. I know it's here somewhere, it always is. Oh, here it is, right here. This guy's what we're looking for. So I wanted to talk about this really quick. This is your swing arm. So you have a plate that is attaching. Let me grab the plate too so I can really show you guys in depth how this works. Oh, there's our plate here. So this guy with these two bolts, this bolt and this bolt, attaches like so, okay? Now what happens is this guy rubs right here. You can kind of see where it's rubbing. It rubs against the swing arm. So you can see the swing arm has been rubbing here and here. So you can barely tell in the video, but it has already worn down some of this metal section here. So what this guy does is this guy goes through here and sits like that, and basically this is a swivel, so it can swivel, has an O-ring on it, and this just gives the bike basically something for that swing arm to rub against. That's not this piece of aluminum, because if you rub this all the way through to your bushing, it'll be so weak that this can crack and break, and if that cracks and breaks, you have to replace your whole swing arm. So that's not a fun time. So this is a little $10-20 unit from China, made from nice CNC. So I do trust them, but I do buy them directly from China. I don't buy them here in the United States. It's much cheaper. You just have to wait for the shipping. And slide that through there, get that bolt in, should be good to go. So we're gonna test this product out. This is new for this year. I've never used one of these before, but I'm excited to try it. So we're gonna definitely check it out and see how it goes. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the update right now. I'll keep you guys posted as we make some more progress. Alrighty guys, just a quick update. We got our rear shock on. Still gotta put our little sticker on this guy, which we'll do here soon. But the rear shock's on, torque down to 59 foot-pounds. This guy, we torqued down a little bit less. It wasn't liking 59, so we got it to about 55 or so, and then we stopped there. I didn't want to break the bolt in half and have a really bad day. So, and this isn't a factory bolt, so I'm not sure what grade material this is. So I just didn't want to risk it. So we did about 55. It's definitely going to be fine. We Loctited it and everything. And then we put this guy on. This is cool. Spins. So when we have our skid plate up in here, instead of rubbing, you guys can see the gap. There's a gap all the way through there. So it's hitting this O-ring right here, and it won't be rubbing against this. So that's super trick. I really like that. I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't know if it's going to fall off. I don't know if it's going to break, but it does have a little bit of play in there, but not much. So we Loctited this little guy too. It's just a little Allen head bolt. So we Loctited that, and I think it should be good. So anyhow, we're gonna get our little sticker on here so it can be really cool. And then yeah, maybe we'll do the front next. So we got the charcoal canister out by beating the crap out of it and literally breaking it. In order to get our new canister in here, this guy, this is the coolant overflow tank. This is a KTM part number. They use it on all their factory racing bikes, so you know it's a pretty decent model. IMS also makes one, but it's about 3-4 times the cost, and I really didn't see why to use theirs over this one, so we went with this guy. Anyhow, it sits right up in here until that hole fits in there, and there's a hole on this side. You can kind of see it. And then same thing with the other side. I just wanted to go over how to get this in because it was very difficult. So what I did is I took this 13mm engine mount bolt off, and then there's another 13mm right there. We took that engine mount bolt off. That allowed the engine to have probably about 3 or 4 millimeters of free play up and down. It was not easy to do. So what I did is I shoved the end of the OEM KTM tool, this guy, inside of here, inside of there, and then when the bolt was out, so this bolt was out and the bottom bolt was out, and then I shoved this in here and I pried it upward, and then I took a mallet and I took the red side, which is the less abrasive side. The orange is like really hard, the red is really soft. So I took the really soft side of the mallet and I lubed up this, and I lubed up the frame there with some lithium ion grease. It was just some right here, White Lightning lithium grease. So we used that, and I just barely tapped it with the mallet, the red side, because I couldn't push it up with my hand. So I just went like this, and I just barely tapped it with the mallet, and was able to, I probably tapped it 30 times or so, and then it popped up in here. So anyhow, that's how I did it. The only other way that I know how to do it is to literally remove all of the engine bolts, probably take off your air boot, and do a few other things. So if you're gonna do this, it's definitely not for the faint of heart. You do have to take a lot of stuff off your bike. But what it does is it does allow you to have a coolant expansion tank. So I run all the coolant expansion tanks on our race cars, and it's no different on a bike, so why not have one? And this one's really cool because this one's tucked up inside the frame, so you know it's going to be solid, you know it's not going anywhere, and you know you're never really going to have an issue unless you really bend or break your frame or something. And on a KTM, you're probably not going to do that. So anyhow, just wanted to go over that real quick, kind of pro tip how to install these. You can do what I did, or you can remove the engine. If your engine's already out, definitely throw one of these in, because why not? But if your engine's not out, this is the way that you can go about doing it. And then just don't forget, torque these down to factory, and then put your frame mounts on here, your engine frame mounts, torque those down to factory, and you should be good to go. So, all right, that's just a pro tip. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and look forward to more in the future. Peace. Alrighty guys, time for a quick update. Here it goes. So, got a little K-Tech sticker on, pretty trick. Got our engine mounts totally torqued down to spec. Carbon fiber engine mount is in on this side. Carbon fiber engine mount is in on this side. We have our radiators on. We have our Samco hose clamps on this side. Samco hose clamps all over the place on this. Boom, 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 boom. Lots of them, lots of them. I might have kind of one too many booms, but all those are on, tightened down. I still have to check for leaks and stuff. What's weird is that I am missing three hose clamps. One right here, one here, and one here. So I did the other side because they're definitely harder to do. So I'm gonna have to order some more hose clamps and get those on when we can. So we'll do that. Got our little Tusk radiator cap here. I really like these. This is a 2-bar. If you have a KTM EXCF 500, it comes with a 1.8 bar. From the factory, it's supposed to have a 2-bar. So I thought that was really weird when I noticed it. I don't know if I still have my factory cap somewhere. I thought I did. Either way, it doesn't matter. Anyhow, you're supposed to run a 2-bar. So if you still have your factory cap and it says 1.8 right here, change that out for a 2-bar. Your bike will run better and it'll run cooler. Basically just changes the pressure. So I think 1 bar is like equal to like 16 psi. So I think the system's at like 32 psi or something. Got our Samco T-piece in here. If you guys haven't watched that video, you can check that out. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We replaced the spark plug. So we did that. Just tightened down all the engine mounts. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's the update right now. It's looking good, and we'll get some more of these hose clamps in stock, get those on the bike, and then we should be ready to rock and roll and keep moving and cruising with the front suspension, all the bar mount stuff that we're gonna do, run some of the electrical connections, all that good stuff. So coming soon, stay tuned. Oh, we got our exhaust flange on here. You guys can kind of see that. There we go. It's kind of dark, but you can see the flange is on there. So we got those tightened down. I wasn't a fan of the bolts that it came with. Let me just show you one of them. So this is one of the bolts that it came with. Not a huge fan. I think this is a very weak bolt. I don't know what grade it is. If I had to guess, somewhere between a 3 and a 6, just a guess, so don't quote me on that. It could be an 8.8, but I don't know. Anyhow, I changed those out for Allen bolts, and I changed them out for 12.9 grade. So a way higher grade. It's going to be a way stronger bolt. It's less likely to back out, less likely to break off when you're taking it on and off. So the bolt that I took off, these 2 bolts right here, these guys, so I took both of them off, and they felt like they were going to snap in half when I took them off. So I went really slow with them. Whereas like the 12.9, I'm gonna have no worries about those snapping in half. The big problem is if these are really weak bolts, like maybe like a grade 4, grade 6, grade 3, whatever they are, they will expand and contract under heat. Obviously, you know, your bike is heating up and cooling off all the time. So it might be best to actually loosen these up when they're hot. But if they corrode and heat up and cool and heat up and cool, the odds of you snapping this off inside of your head is going to be pretty high, and drilling and tapping that out would be almost impossible without removing the engine. So for those reasons, I decided to swap out the hardware there. It's probably the only spot that I swapped any hardware out on this entire bike, but I try to be pretty careful when I'm doing these things. Try to think it all through and make sure that we're going to be you know, servicing it the best we possibly can now, but also making sure it's not a pain in the ass for ourselves in the future, because I love my future self and I don't want him to have to experience that. So think about your future self when you're doing those things, and you can decide what's best for you. We did get some new stuff in stock today. I'm not going to go over that yet. We'll go over that in probably the next video or the one after that, when we actually make some more progress on this thing. But for now, it's moving and cruising. So I'm gonna get back to work and tidy up a few more things and then head out for the day, and hopefully the rest of our parts that we need to keep moving forward will be here tomorrow. So until next time, guys, peace.